I love nothing more than spending some time in my sketchbook just testing out ideas. So today I've got 4 different ideas for you to try out yourselves. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gemma. I create weekly art content, so hit that subscribe button. This first idea I know fills a lot of people with a little bit of dread or maybe just a little bit of fear in their sketchbook. It's because you are blind drawing. So the idea of this one is you're working instinctively, just thinking about the shapes and then letting your hand do the work without being able to see the page. For mine, I added a bit of a watercolour wash or gradient wash, or you could add different shapes with watercolour just to add something extra to the page. And then you're going to go in with whatever medium you want to. I've used a black Macron pen for mine. I chose to draw some plants, so I've started out with a monstera plant. I am trying to draw this within one of those watercolour marks. However, as you can see, because I can't see the page, I've gone over onto that blue gradient wash, which is absolutely fine. I really like the final look of this, and I think it is quite a nice way just to warm up in your sketchbook before you go on to doing something that takes a little bit longer. Some people like to look away from their work whilst they're drawing, and others like to have a piece of paper in front of their hand so you can't be tempted to have a look at the drawing that you are creating. But for this one, you want to just think about what the shapes are and how you're going to get that across on the page without being able to have a look at it. On the same page, I'm also going to do a continuous line drawing. So I've got this smaller blue area and I'm going to use a white pen for this one. And the idea for this is that you are not allowed to lift your drawing tool up from the page, so you have to draw in a continuous line, and this one can be a real challenge in order to get in the details. It's a really fun little drawing activity and a great way to warm up and think about the contours of the item you are drawing. So I would highly recommend these 2 drawing activities to get you warmed up and just to have a little bit of fun without putting too much pressure on yourselves to create the most amazing spread in your sketchbook. This next idea is a really great way for you to relieve a little bit of stress and anxiety because you're just thinking about your form. So thinking about your highlights and your dark tones and trying to show those in your work within an optical illusion. So for this one, I divided up an area in my sketchbook in a square because I wanted it to sit in a nice neat space. Once I had taped off my square, I then added a few dots within it. And these are going to be the points that I'm going to draw between. So from each dot, I'm going to draw a curved line, and this is eventually going to create a curved shape that is closed. Once you have connected up all of those dots on your page, you're then going to start shading in each of them. So towards the center where that dot is, into that shape, I'm going to add in a darker shade, and as it gets into the middle part of that shape, it's going to get lighter. So it looks like we have got a curve with a highlight in the middle. You can go back over the shading to darken up the inner parts as much as you want to refine your shading. Once you have shaded in each of the shapes you've created, you're going to then think about the negative space in the gaps between. Now, I extended out the shapes by adding in more of those curved lines and shading them in, but this time I added 2 colours instead of just the one, and I overlapped my pink and my green together to create a little bit more of an interest, and I thought that this worked really well. This one makes it look like it's kind of weaving in and out and kind of collapsing in on itself, so it's quite a nice one just to relax and to create. You can do this whilst you're relaxing, watching TV, or you could completely switch off everything and just focus on this one task. For this one, I used coloured fine liners, but you could use colouring pencils, acrylic markers, you could use alcohol markers, you could use watercolours. It's entirely up to you what you use for it. It's a really nice simple idea, but it is a really nice, easy, relaxing page in your sketchbook. What's your favourite page in your sketchbook? Let me know in the comments below. I would absolutely love to know what sort of things you like to do in your sketchbooks. If you're interested in any of the art materials that I have used in today's video, I will link them in the description box so you can go and check them out. For this next idea, I had already prepped my page. So I gessoed an area on my sketchbook and then I toned it with a magenta. and I wanted to create a collection of my favourite things on this page, and I wanted it to be quite an illustrative page, so I'm not focusing too much on high details, just the shapes of the plants and the pots. But you could create a page like this of absolutely anything that you want to, so a collection of your favourite items, and I think this would look absolutely lovely. So I sketched out my ideas using a coloured pencil, and I used a magenta pencil just so that it would blend quite well with the background. Then I toned in my background again with a slightly lighter colour, but you could still see quite a bit of that magenta pulling through because I wanted that to remain in my piece. And I really like being able to see some of the colour around the outside of my artwork, slightly like a halation in response to Wayne T, but I really like how he has these colours around his artwork, like a halo of colour around his artwork, so I wanted to think about that in mind. Suggest that you try and create a collection of your favourite things in your sketchbook. If you've been around for a while, you will know that I like to create artwork about food. I've painted a rocket lolly because I really do enjoy the flavours of these, and I also like the idea of how it would melt in the heat. So I've added in some nice watercolour blends to create that melting effect and how those colours would start to mould and bleed together. I also added in some of my Jackson's masking fluid, which I highly recommend. I will link it in the description box.
Yesterday there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane, and as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise. And now there's something in the air and a sparkly shimmer on our skin, restoring everything within. Oh, dreamy, breezy we go, easy, easy on our tiptoes, undercover.
And then once I was finished with my actual painting, I did then go back in with my Faber-Castell polychromos and I added in some details. This is a really good tip if you're wanting to cut some time out of your painting, is going with some colouring pencils afterwards, adding in additional details to finish off your piece, and it will help speed up that time ever so slightly. But I absolutely love painting food or drawing food or artwork about food, and I had a great time creating this one. Let me know in the comments what idea you're going to check out and try yourself, and also make sure you subscribe. If you've enjoyed today's video, give it a big thumbs up. I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.